Hello everyone, Amanda here. Thanks for joining me today. So today I'm doing my altered cards. Now this is a weekly challenge over on my Facebook group called Create with Scrimping Mummy. There is a link in the description box below with all my other links. Billions of them. You're more than welcome to come along and join. We've had quite a lot of new joiners lately. You know, we have a lovely time over there. There are some free things in the files section, and we're going to be adding more. And to help you with your crafting, and we share all sorts, cards, journaling, mixed media. We do these challenges. So I do a set of 4. You can do 4 a week until we've done. I think we're on week 10, so we've only got another few weeks and we're done. Or you can do 1, or you can just follow along and watch. It's up to you. So this week's theme was where I live. So either your country, or your, you know, county or area, or your actual town, what you're famous for, or however you want to interpret it. So I've interpreted mine very, very loosely, very loosely, because my town's not famous for right much other than industry during the Victorian times. It's not really a touristy place. We've got a nice railway station and some lovely Victorian buildings, and that's about it. So the main focus of where I live is that it's Yorkshire, and you know, it's lovely and green and it's beautiful, and there is some lovely historical places. So anyway, I've printed off some images and I'm just going to get going. So I may well fast forward this process and then join you at the end. All right. Okay, so I'm prepping my cards, just lightly sanding them down, and then I'm going to dry brush them with gesso. I just use whatever cheapest. I've had this pot forever. I've said before, it's like Jesus with the fishes. It just lasts forever and ever and ever. Can't get rid of it. So, so I'm just lightly brushing. I do like to still see the playing cards beneath so that I can tell what they once were. Although the back, as I've said before, is a playing card, so you can tell. We're on week 10. We've only got another 3 weeks and we've done. I think this is the first time I've done a challenge all the way through. I feel quite proud of myself. So now that the gesso's dry, I'm getting my spray box out. And I'm going to be using my Tim Holtz Distress Sprays, which are fabulous. And they're really vibrant. They are quite new. They sometimes stick a bit and can be a bit difficult to spray. I don't know. I might need to rinse the nozzle under the hot water. So I've sprayed. I've used mossy green, and then I will have used peacock feathers because that's just my most favourite colour in the world. So I've sprayed them, and then I'm adding water, which will then react with those inks, and hopefully I'll get like a mottled raindrop effect. And now I've got my new heat tool. That should set nicely. With my old tool, it just used to blow the ink everywhere, and I could never get those like spots that look like rain, which is what I'm going for here. So I will be probably adding water a few times and drying it a few times. In Yorkshire, we're very green. I live very close to the Pennines, and so we get a lot of rain. And it is very green, you know, with a lot of fields and trees, and it's nice. And then obviously we've got the moors in between. So there's a lot of greenery. It's very lush. So yeah, we are lucky. It is very pretty. And the villages and towns, although in the cities they're quite built up, in between there's lots of green space, so it's nice. It is lovely, and I'm quite pleased with how this new heat tool set that ink. It does look, if you look there, it looks like raindrops. It's lovely. So then I'm getting my images that I've printed, and I've just gone on internet search and gone for copyright free images and downloaded a few and just printed them out, a slightly smaller size. And I'm just going to just find a way of using them. They're not perfect, they're not the perfect size, the clarity of the images is not brilliant, but I'm going to find a way of using them. So the first one I printed out was the badge, the Yorkshire Rose badge. It didn't fit, it's too big, so I'm trimming it down and I'll make it fit. There's always a way to do things, and you know, we are lucky we've got the internet now. Just about everything you can find is on there. You know, so you don't ever need to be, all you need is a printer. I'm quite lucky, I've got the Epson Eco tank, so printing is, you know, I can print willy-nilly and it's pretty cheap. So I'm just inking. I've decided to ink around the edge with, what have I used, walnut stain, to make them stand out a little bit from the green and blue background there. And that's all I'm doing on that one. I do add some words and some other bits and bobs later on, I'm only kidding. So on this one I'm just adding some what looks like road map. Yeah, so, and there is an image of Castle Hill, which is a local landmark built to commemorate Queen Victoria's something or other. I should know the full story, but I can't always remember without looking it up. But it's built on a site that actually dates back to, I think they've found Iron Age remains there. So that mound, that hill, you know, has been used as a fortress for years, and there's a lot of Roman remains in that area as well of Huddersfield, and it's called Armonbury. So there is lots of history around and about. This is just a picture of some white roses to, you know, to suggest the Yorkshire rose, and this is a picture of a clock tower in my village. So in the heart of the village where I live, there's a clock tower on one side of the road, and then there's the church on the other, and then we've got the co-op. And it's a lovely little village full of little, you know, independent small restaurants. There's just a couple of bars, a little children's bookshop. It's really a lovely little place to live, to be honest. It's really nice. And it's kind of like close enough to the countryside, but also close enough to town. So then I decided I wanted to add some words. I couldn't be bothered stamping individual letters, so I went on my computer and I typed out the words that I want in a typewriter font that I downloaded for free, and then just literally I've cut them out. So I think I did one for Huddersfield, one for Linley, and one saying home is where the heart is. And just cut them up, ink them, and stick them on. You need never be short of words. Just use your PC and make your own if you can't find what there is. I used to buy, you know, pages of words, and now I just make my own. Whenever I want them, I make my own. So yeah. Okay, so these are coming along nicely. We're going to be adding a few more touches in a moment when we've got these words on. I've just used copy paper. It doesn't have to be anything special, just use what you've got. It's amazing what you can come up with out of your stash, as it were. I'm on a bit of a spend freeze at the moment, so I'm very much using what I've got. So I just think after this part I decide that it needs a bit more, and I get my stencils out because I'm never done. It's never enough. I always want more, and I do like numbers. So I'm using my Tim Holtz stamp and just randomly adding some numbers on, just to break up, so it doesn't look so boring and so plain, I suppose, and to give it a bit of a mixed media feel. I think it's just a little bit extra. Then I've got these stencils, so I'm using black soot distress ink. I've got these that look like little bubbles. They're quite nice. And then obviously the ones that I like, little Harlequin diamonds. I think I use that on one of them, and they are lovely. And I've just used a little bit of scrap of foam on there, cut and dry foam, which is quite cool. Gets in those little stencil holes nicely. Just adding a little bit of interest so that it's not just looks like I've just printed it from the internet and glued it on, which is actually quite exactly what I've done, but I'm just trying to add a little bit more interest than that. So I'm just going to dry them off, because I'm going to add some gilding polish or whatever it's called around the edges, and this is I think it's a Cosmic Shimmer one, and they've got this little sponge. And it's dried out, it's gone hard as the sponge, it's not much cop. But the actual stuff itself is quite nice. You just have to get messy and do it with your fingers. So I'm adding that all the way around and really just smooshing it about so that it looks nice and messy. Just to edge those images and draw the eye inwards. It does help if you just put something kind of border on your cards. Yeah, and the metallic just adds a little bit of something. So I think we're more or less done there. Just going to dry it off so that it doesn't start soaking up any of the other ink colours and go all muddy and brown. And there we are. I think we're more or less done. So we've got Lindley there with the clock tower, which is in the centre of our village. Okay, Lindley's a quite important place. I love living here. It's also where I met my husband. This is Castle Hill, obviously. I've probably discussed it through the video if I've done a voiceover. A landmark, you always know you're back home when you see Castle Hill. And wherever you are in Huddersfield, more or less, you can see it. You can see it for miles. Then obviously we've got to have the Yorkshire Rose. Beautiful, beautiful flower. Okay. And then the actual Yorkshire Rose, which is the badge for our counter. So there you go. Those are mine. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll come and join the group. Don't forget, the links are in the description box below. Come and join us. Come and have some messy fun. Thanks for watching. Bye.